to Deshaun real quick. I just want to show you one little clip.
All right.
And if you could just paint the picture to me about, like, what was that moment about?
Watson moves to his right.
Launches a deep throw down the field.
We lost that game, and I missed a couple throws that I usually make. I don't like to wait. I like to just go in and fix it, correct it, so I can move on to the next thing.
One of the most important days for my success was I get a text. Deshaun said he needed me. Their game just ended. So I'm like, all right, I'll be right there. I land, and I go right to the stadium. We go through every play, come up with detailed notes, and I'm like, let's go throw. And there's a reporter up there who catches it, Aaron Wilson. He records it. He posts on social media. It was like a big deal because NFL quarterbacks don't work out right after their game. That's unheard of.
Quincy is amazing.
That following Sunday, Deshaun throws for like 400 yards, 3 TDs.
A week ago, Deshaun Watson stood on the turf in an empty NRG Stadium. Whatever he learned that day, he put it to great use today against the Falcons.
What a performance by Deshaun Watson.
He's ridiculous. Deshaun Watson is a star.
And then on Sunday Night Football, Tony Dungy's like...
He got his personal quarterback coach, Quincy Avery, to work with him after the game. Came out 28 for 33, 426 yards, 5 touchdowns. Maybe somebody needs to hire Quincy.
That's right.
I don't think some people realize how valuable it is to just be able to pay your own rent every month and not worry about, like, am I gonna be okay? All those things were tough to envision for me at a point because I couldn't get anybody to train with me. It was a year I'm living in a car just trying to figure out how you're gonna eat your next meal. But don't get caught up in, like, right now or my comfort because that's fleeting. I'm always thinking about the long game. I was going to lay my cards on the table because these are the things that I want, and I was going to do everything I could to make it happen.
Right!
And then, boom, all of a sudden, I'm living a life like I couldn't have, like, dreamed of.
Quarterback guru
Quincy Avery, president at an elite quarterback training program.
His clientele is the elite.
I can't stand Quincy Avery. This is a guy who is a Division II wide receiver. And then he wants to act as if he's a quarterback guru.
What you're doing is working, and they're making money and having great careers.
Quincy Avery is somebody who I trust. He's one of the best quarterback coaches that I've ever worked with.
He's someone that you're not just going to work out with just to do the workouts and not talk to him again. It's somebody that you can chop it up with about life.
He's one of the best to do it, and he can relate to me and other black quarterbacks in terms of what we have to go through to be successful.
Hey guys, let's go! I helped hundreds of young men get college scholarships. I train more NFL quarterbacks than anybody in the world. There's some kid today who could be the star quarterback of an NFL team 10 years from now who's not being given the opportunity to be the quarterback of their 9th grade football team. And that's really what I hope to impact.
Keep moving through the throw. I'm saying, like, it's not necessarily the football that we're trying to emulate. Literally, the whole point of how we're training is to help you guys, when shit happens in games, that you guys can self-organize and make a throw on the ball and be in a consistent spot. We're showing you different ways to do all the things that we talk about. Good. Hey, so Malik, did you know you got a 32 on the Wonderlic?
I don't know how I got that bit. I ain't cheat though. They can't say I cheated. I ain't finished neither though.
Huh?
I ain't finished. I had like 10 questions left.
To be able to play at the college level is a huge deal. But now that there's one more step above that they know that they're on the cusp of, and it means so much to me to help them take that next step in their journey.
So, skip. Good. No, too quick. Don't be in a hurry.
Quincy's always been straightforward, and he's gonna shoot it to you honestly so you can, you know, get the most out of it. I mean, he's not gonna sugarcoat it because that's not gonna help you at the end of the day.
No, 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 no. Jesus.
Damn. What I did wrong that time?
You only took 2 steps. He thought I like got mad at him for some shit that he didn't do wrong.
When I was in college, I was throwing it great, but my feet were horrible, and we kept doing drills, and I would keep messing up and then make a great throw, and then I'd be talking back to him like, yeah, you see that? Yeah, just popping it.
What was that you're doing?
I don't hear that shit.
He was like, that's not gonna get it done. Like, you could throw it, but you gotta be able to do the things that take no talent. You gotta do it the right way.
Yeah! Yeah!
I think it's an understatement to say training with Q changed the mindset that I had about the sport in general.
Get out. Yeah, good job, Lee. Black quarterbacks are often given the perception of us not being able to make accurate passes and great decisions. So everything that I'm doing is aimed to fight the stigmas that we face because of that. I just take my foot around and be able to go. When I was really little and I got to see Warren Moon being one of the very few black quarterbacks that we had to look at or emulate, he gave a lot of young black men who wanted to be quarterbacks hope. I started learning about all the things that Warren Moon had to go through. He had to show and prove over and over that he was one of the best just to get an opportunity. It's just what they did because they didn't think we were smart enough. And you could talk about anything else, but when you really drill it down, they didn't think we were smart enough to play the quarterback position.
You know, I've heard all my life, black quarterbacks are running quarterbacks. They're athletes back there. They're not pocket passers. Might not be as smart with the X's and O's, things like that.
Quincy knows, you know, what the black quarterback goes through or what we have to go through in terms of what we have to go through in life.
Black quarterbacks are the same as white quarterbacks, just oftentimes they had to go through a little bit more to get to where they are now. It is gonna be more difficult because we were a black quarterback, but we're not gonna let that be the reason we say we didn't make it. I think a lot of the reasons I do what I do is because there wasn't somebody like me for me when I was growing up. I didn't have like an older person I could lean on for advice or I could talk to about things that were going on, or even with someone there to push me to let me know like, this is what is required to get the things that you want. But I can be that for somebody else. Hey, you can either go out on a right foot double tap if you want, or we can go left foot lead. Hey, that's really good. My mission is to make sure there's no quarterbacks who feel like you're in it by yourself, that there's no support system. I want you to know that there's a lot of black quarterbacks out there who've been through the same things that you're going through and that you have a community. My philosophy is you don't know what is the moment that can change your life, for good or for bad. And wherever you can help out, you should help out. I think about like the C.J. Stroud situation, and he needed some help to get there.
The first time I met Q was in Long Beach at Elite 11 at the regional.
The thing that I talked about earlier and that you guys happen to miss, if you're confused, just ask some questions. You guys are not saying anything, you're not gonna get where you wanna go. The Elite 11 throws a number of regional camps across the country, and then they invite the top 11 high school quarterbacks to the finals. And these quarterbacks often go on to be the face of not only college, but the NFL.
Set, go. Right read, right read.
And he's watching me, you know. He was like, man, who are you? And I'm like, I'm CJ. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna check you out today. I was like, bet.
Oh! Let's go, CJ. Good read, good ball.
I'm doing good in the drills. I'm putting in all the money.
CJ was so locked in, from on the field to the playbook.
But I didn't get the invite that day.
Jack Miller, where you at? Our MVP, going to the Elite 11 finals.
Last person who's picked for the Elite 11. CJ was so locked in on every single thing that was going on.
Say it.
You could see his confidence growing with every single throw.
every opportunity he had, he took full advantage of.
Stroud with loads of time. Fires over the middle, hits a wide open man. Eyes downfield, finds a man in the back of the end zone.
I won MVP.
He goes out there and goes from 24 to 1, unheard of. And before we left there, I called Ohio State. I said, look, this is the quarterback you need to get from this class. Like, you need to make sure you get C.J. Stroud.
I'll probably get in trouble for this. I really don't care. Q actually paid for me for a flight and a hotel because it was an unofficial visit, and Q paid for it. Q paid for me to go. Man, it makes me want to cry. Cause like, bro, like no one trusted in me. I don't think bro knows this, but like, and at the world, and he was there with me the whole time. Like, never left my side. And like, bro didn't know me that well, but he just trusted me, you know?
Ohio State.
I am committing like 2 weeks later. At the time, I didn't have my father in my life. I had other father figures, but like, you know, none of them would like do that. And like, bro, it just meant the world. Quincy was one of the first people to tell me I was special and tell me that I had a real talent and that I could take it as far as I wanted to. I don't know if he knows that, but I'm just very appreciative of it, you know? So really just been really just a role model in my eyes.
There's these little moments where if you don't do everything right and it doesn't go your way, if you don't just catch one little break, your life could be dramatically different. That's why you gotta present yourself as the best version of yourself every single day you wake up. I think that's the thing that I learned from my mom, probably more than anything.
Hey, love.
How you doing?
Oh, good.
See this tree right here? We'd be at the tree. It'd be me, Sean, and Terrell, and we would play football. So if you crossed over that last steps in the brick house, if you made it past
I always saw him as a quarterback.
I've never played any position in football other than quarterback until I got to college, but it was just quarterback. But that's all I'd seen. And my dad was a quarterback. My dad coached quarterbacks. I envied my dad and him playing sports and him being a quarterback growing up.
There was nothing else in my life other than wanting to be a quarterback. That was everything to me. Being a black quarterback at the time, I knew I couldn't play anywhere else but in the Big Ten.
The Big Ten was loaded with African-American quarterbacks at that time. And the University of Minnesota, they had a history of black quarterbacks.
Sandy Stevens opens the fourth frame with some beautiful faking.
Sandy Stevens was one of the first African-American All-American quarterbacks.
Stevens passes perfectly to Tommy Hall on the Purdue 3.
Tony Dungy had an impressive career with the Golden Gophers, named Minnesota's MVP, chosen as team captain in '76, recognized as an All-American contender.
Tony was the personification of what a quarterback was in my mind. So it was nowhere in the world I was going anywhere else but to the University of Minnesota.
One of our coaches came in and said, "We've got this young man. We think he has potential to be a great quarterback." Sure enough, they were right.
We'll start Wendell Avery.
He came in right away, dug his heels in, and we've been friends ever since.
Tony Dungy was definitely a mentor as far as how to do things in this confined area of being a black quarterback.
After I left, he got a chance to play, and they did some good things.
Quarterback Wendell Avery unleashes a 45-yard bomb. Hauled in. A 21-yard pickup and a fresh set of downs at the Gophers 46.
When I was a young kid, you would see how people revered him as that quarterback from the University of Minnesota.
Wendell Avery fires deep, complete for a huge gain.
It just gave me like a tremendous sense of pride. Then to go see him thrive as a coach, I really just thought my dad did everything the right way.
Once I made that decision that I was going to coach, I want to be perfect. And that was my driving force. I want to be better than most. And that was my mindset. I'm always going to be better than most. And from there, I got a call from Coach Dungy. So you ready to go? I said, I'm ready to go. The next thing I know, I'm in the NFL.
with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I saw how all the stars of that football team gravitated towards my father. I don't think that you could put into words like how good that feels as a little kid, like to know that your dad is like that revered. I remember he had this big S-Class Mercedes when I was a little kid, and he would put me in the front seat, and I'm like my dad is like a superhero.
Me having a son has been the highlight of my life. I try to do as much as I can, as often as I can with him. There's not a city or a town that I coached in that Quincy hadn't been a part of. I want to make sure that he was exposed to what I was doing and how I was doing it. But not only that, I just wanted him around me. Being a father and being a coach, it's a lot of movement. So I missed a lot of Quincy stuff because I was coaching. But he used to send me clippings when he was in high school, and he was one of the top passers in the state back then.
We are at Washburn High School, where I grew up, played quarterback here. So like when you're a little kid and you're in this neighborhood, every Friday night when you drive past, you'd hear the announcers and all the stands getting filled, and you'd be like, man, I can't wait until I'm that guy like doing those same things. And then you do it. I know that somebody's gonna be driving down 50th Street, they're gonna look, they're gonna see these lights on, and they're gonna be seeing me. And you're gonna hear that touchdown Millers, right? You get to hear that, and then the stands would be full every week because we never lost. You were like a rock star. A lot of the confidence that I have now, being able to walk in the rooms and feel like I am who I am, is because of things that I did while I was here.
You know, I talked to Quincy about how there's a lot of parallels between being a black quarterback, man, and father. We have to set a standard that's a little different than most. You have to be on your P's and Q's, and I guess that's with us in life also.
Life for African Americans is uncomfortable, and it's just something that I understood that he would have to face as a young black man growing up. In high school, Quincy had been telling me that his teacher was racist and that he didn't like him or the other black students. So there was an assignment that was due, and the teacher gave him a D. And one of his friends said, I bet you if I turn it in, I don't get a D. So he scratched out the D, turned the exact same paper in, and teacher graded it and gave him a much higher grade. That felt like a lot of what we experience as African Americans.
We claim that things are merit-based. Like if you do the work, we'll put you in position to be successful. But that situation showed me, like, you can do the work. You can do it exactly how it's supposed to be done. But there's still some guy who gets to choose his own criteria, say that this was good enough or it wasn't. That was just one grade that he gave me. But that man didn't stop teaching that day. Like, his bias gets to continue to affect kids day after day after day. And it's little things like that that can have lasting impact. So that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you start hearing the voices of the people who didn't think you were good enough, and you start hearing them yourself. And that's the impact that people like that have on many young black and brown kids today. There is bias by so many people on what they think a quarterback is supposed to look like. E.J. Colston is someone I've trained since they were in middle school. And even though EJ's always wanted to be a quarterback, he's faced a lot of the same roadblocks that so many other black quarterbacks face. And that's coaches trying to move him to different positions.
Football is my passion. I want to go play football for 10, 12 years.
From the time he was 5, he has always wanted to be on that football field. Through the years, there's so many coaches that have seen his athletic abilities, and they always want to move him to something else. Yes, he could do that, but he's a quarterback.
So many times the young kids that I see really want to be quarterbacks, and the coaches just don't see them that way. It's not because they're a bad kid, it's not because they're not talented, it's because somebody who's been really important to them has never looked like black folks. And that's really what I hope to impact, to show these people that that young man can do all the things no white quarterback can do.
EJ, come demo one. Kick back, shuffle, evasive. Go.
EJ and I worked hard together, and when he got his chance, he did everything he could with it.
Biggest moment, it was my first varsity game, and the night before, like, I cried out of joy, like, it's finally here. Like, I waited so long to get here, and I threw my first touchdown. We won. Everybody told me I was an athlete. Nobody believed in me being a quarterback, so it was like, they can't tell me nothing now. Like, I've done it. I've done what they said I couldn't do. It was just amazing.
The thing about EJ is he just kept working hard. He kept his head down, kept his goal consistent, so they could get the opportunity to be a quarterback. But what happened with him, and the story's like as old as time. Black quarterback does really good, but we're just gonna move you to wide receiver.
Tony Dungy orchestrated the most dominant scoring drive of the Gophers season.
Playing in college, it was pretty popular to take good athletes and move them around. Dennis Franklin won 30 games in 3 years, but then they told him, you know, if you want to play in the NFL, you have to change positions.
Rookie Dennis Franklin, once a Michigan quarterback, made the move to wide receiver and established himself as a deep threat starter.
I talk about Warren Moon a lot with this because he had to run his 40 slower intentionally so that they didn't move him.
Back in that day, if you had the ability to move around and run, they considered you a dual threat quarterback, which still is definitely a stigma to it.
Growing up, Peyton Manning was the standard for quarterback. Pocket passer, stay in the pocket, try not to run, try not to take any hits. There weren't too many, dual threat rushing quarterbacks.
I remember in high school, man, like, I would go to camps and they would write dual threat on your name tag, and dual threat just came with the stigma of this guy just likes to run around. He's not gonna sit in the pocket, he's not gonna make reads.
In the National Football League, we've been the victim of, well, we've always done it this way. The quarterback had to be 6'4" and strong arm and only function in the pocket and be this type of leader that everyone looked at.
Sports is very much a business, and you can't forget the people evaluating, the people in the decision-making of who gets the role, the people in the decision-making of who cuts the check, have a fundamental interest in being able to look at the screen and identify yourself as the hero. So what we have is a large population of people not getting the chance just based upon how they look.
So you have a guy like Warren Moon, Offensive Player of the Year, led his team to a Rose Bowl victory, and he didn't get drafted. So for 6 years, he was in the Canadian Football League until he got the chance in the NFL.
I had total confidence in what I was doing on the field, and my accomplishments spoke for themselves. The only part that I was worried about is how would I be perceived by 2 police officers, and they surround me. And he says, Warren, there's been a death threat on your life, and we got to make sure you get off the field safely. But that's one of the reasons why I decided to play this position, because it came with a lot of pressure. There was a huge responsibility every time I went out to play because I needed to represent for my race, because I felt it. I felt it from fans. I felt it from people that came up to me in grocery stores, just walking down the street. I had to take that baton and do what I could do for that next generation of guys to get more opportunities.
Back when I'm in high school and my dad was coaching for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm watching football and it's a Sunday night game. Across the ESPN ticker, it says Wendell Avery missing from the game. That had a real shift on like how I saw things when I saw him, because you did all these things, like you made all these steps, all these sacrifices, spent so much time away from like me, your son, to go coach all these different places, and then you just gave it up, right, over something so stupid, so silly.
All I wanted to be was an NFL coach, period. That was my whole life. To get in the room finally, be there, and piss it away. Makes no sense.
A year after that, he's my coach at this camp that traveled around the country. And we go to the first stop. We get to a hotel. We're there, and he's like, I'm gonna get out real quick, I'll be right back. Wake up the next morning, he's not there. My dad left me in a hotel room because of his addiction. That was when I really had an understanding, like, he may love me, but at this time, he loves this other thing more. That's kind of when I started, like, to see my dad different. I probably started seeing the world different. It wasn't just him, but it's like, damn, people can really let you down.
It was a very hurtful and impactful experience that could have really destroyed Quincy. He was very angry.
Hey, how far are you away?
Probably like 15, 20.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, that's where I had my surgery and everything.
Okay.
It should be on the 3rd floor.
All right, I'll be there in 11 minutes.
I bet.
Today was supposed to be his first day throwing, so headed there now to see what the doc says in regards to him being able to throw. I thought 2023 was gonna be a big season for Deshaun, but shortly after he really started to hit his stride, he his shoulder.
Can Cleveland turn things around at home and put one in the win column against Tennessee? Watson fakes the handoff, breaks free, battles through defenders.
Well, another day of practice for the Browns, another day without Deshaun Watson participating.
Quarterback remains sidelined with a shoulder injury.
Browns quarterback saying he hasn't been able to fully throw. When asked if he thinks he'll be able to get back to 100% at some point this season, Watson said, quote, "I'm not sure."
Watson back out with the team, throwing the football, hoping he might be back against the Colts.
Empty backfield on 3rd and 7. Watson senses pressure closing in.
Watson said, I'm praying as to the shoulder, it's not anything worse.
A must-win AFC North battle in Baltimore. The ball comes loose, scooped up, thrown to the end zone. Browns pull off the win, 33-31.
Deshaun Watson is set to undergo season-ending surgery for a broken bone in his throwing shoulder.
He's been on the field for just one full season in the last 2 years.
It's been nothing but disappointments with this contract since the moment that they traded for him and signed it.
It's already going down as one of the worst contracts in NFL history. I cannot believe that he'll be full strength next year. I mean, even if he is, fragility is the #1 on-the-field issue for him.
What's up, good brother?
What's with you?
Is Dr. Rob here?
Yeah, he said he should be pulling up right now. Or he already should be here.
Are we throwing at UCLA? Or you want to throw somewhere else?
I was gonna figure out everything now. I only throw like 3 times a week for right now.
But not far.
Not far, like, because I ain't even throwing a football, so I just been throwing the little weighted balls.
Fly balls? Let's do it.
How you guys doing? How you doing, Mohammed? How you doing, sir?
My concern is, do you remember that thing I used to tell you about, like, how he was having you do those warm-ups and fly hills and opening your hip? Remember all that stuff? No, I don't think that with the things that he's doing rehab right now are setting you back. I think that I'm on board with him doing that. I think that everybody is. I will have real I don't want him to do anything like, hey, no, your body should be moving like this when you throw. It's light, but we got 12 days to throw, bro. So literally whatever you need to do, I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Headed to the field now. Try to see who's got the stronger.
He can't really throw for real. Like, we ain't have...
Or he's not ready.
Basically what they told him was like, yeah, not yet. But they didn't... But kind of, but not yet.
Can't risk it for sure. Yeah.
So we were getting ready to go through the college process, like finding teams. I'm sending out my highlight tapes. And then there was a bunch of HBCUs that offered me. And my mom's like, you need to go to Morehouse. It's the best HBCU there is in the country. I want you to go there. My freshman year, I redshirted. And then, like, I know, hey, I might start this next year, but I might not. Like, there was a good chance I wouldn't. My whole life, I thought I was gonna be this quarterback, right? That's the whole thought, like, I'm gonna be this quarterback. But at that point in time, in my heart of hearts, I knew that I wasn't talented enough to go to the NFL. You gotta be bigger, you gotta be stronger, you gotta be faster. So I was trying to take matters into my own hands. Coach was like, yo, you be a starter at wide receiver for us right now. I love football, I wanted to do it.
One of the oldest rivalries in all of college football, Tuskegee and Morehouse.
Out of the shotgun is Sterling. Has a receiver open. That's a first down to Quincy Avery. Completes his pass to Quincy Avery.
Throw over the middle, wide open. Inside the 10, inside the 5, to the end zone. Stretching for the pylon. Give him the touchdown. Quincy Avery, a clutch catch and run. Takes it to the house.
So I graduate from Morehouse, I'm 22. At that point in time, like, my new vision was gonna be NFL college head coach. Like, that's the thing that I wanted. So my dad called UCLA. His buddy Dwayne Walker had just left. He was like, yeah, I'll try and help you out, I'll make a call. Right, so I drive from Atlanta, clear across the country to Los Angeles, California. So I see Coach Neuheisel, who was the head coach at that time, walk in the office. He sees me on the couch. He's like, yeah, what are you doing here? I'm like, I want a job. It's like, man, that's not how this works. Goes back to his office. He comes back out that evening, I'm still there, right? He's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, oh, I want a job. He's like, this is not how it works. He leaves, he comes back the next morning, I'm there on the couch. Same spiel. What are you doing here? I want a job. Comes out that day, he's like, yo, if you're here tomorrow, we can talk. Walks in, of course I'm there. Goes to his office, calls me back, and he's like, look, we don't have a position for you, but you can volunteer. You interested? Of course. I didn't really think about what that looked like. Volunteer, you're not getting paid, but you're expected to work like a full-time coach. And at that time, I was living in a locker room because I don't make any money. I can vividly remember, like, seeing $4.39 in my bank account. Like, stuff like, it was miserable, just not making any money, not having any way to really provide for yourself. So you master survival skills. This is at a time where UCLA was even tripping about, like, giving us food. So the coaches would have us go get the dinner right before we got into our staff meeting. And I would just get like 4 to-go boxes. That to-go
story of, like, but it's real. I remember I used to wear these small cleats. Like I wore 13 in high school, and I had size like 10.5, all I could afford. And I've always had kind of bad eyesight. Play with one contact in my eye, and I like savored that contact. Like I like treated it like my baby, because if it ripped or it broke or fell out, I wouldn't be able to see it at practice. And I never said a word to my mom, because I already knew she had a lot of pressure and she was already going through enough. Like, I remember coming home, my mom was just like crying about like bills and like worrying about like, we didn't know what was gonna happen next. It was hard, and I remember like, man, I devoted my life to sports after that.
Ready, Simone.
Yeah, man, there's so much adversity I faced early in my life with family issues that we had. My dad was my role model, you know what I mean? He's the one who taught me everything, was always one person I always could rely on and go to and ask questions to. But he passed away when I was 14 years old, so going into sophomore year of high school. But once I started getting a couple offers in football, I was like, all right, this is gonna be my sport. It's gonna take me to the next level, take me to college, let me get that education, get school paid for, all that.
You know, talk about NFL talent.
It's because of throws like that. Jordan Love finding the hole in the defense.
And Jordan Love gets the touchdown.
That's when it really hit me, like, all right, I'm gonna go to the NFL and keep taking this football route as long as I can.
The Packers will pay Love $220 million, making him the highest paid quarterback in NFL history.
That's a dream, you know, you make it to the NFL, you want to be able to help my family out with everything.
As a black quarterback, I just remember my dad telling me in middle school, like, you're gonna have to be twice as good as a white quarterback to, you know, get the same amount of credit. Growing up, I had a lot of, so my sophomore year in high school, I started training with Q. As I got better, as I started to progress as a quarterback, you know, kept moving up the ESPN rankings.